This is a little presentation on wind turbine sizes for the proposed development at Curraglass Cappaboy, just above the Pass Keimaneigh in West Cork. And it's also going to comprise a little tutorial of how to get in to view this stuff because it's not that easy to access. So the first thing to say is that to look at all this stuff and everything, you have to use an Internet Explorer browser. For some reason, Cork County Council pages don't support other browsers if you want to see everything. So open up your Internet Explorer browser or download it if you don't have it and type in something like Cork County Council Planning and click on one of these and you're into this page and go to Planning Inquiry Full Map version. Okay, and it tells you here it only works with Internet Explorer. Use that. If you want to look at maps, you have to have downloaded this plugin. I've done that already, so download that if you want to look at the maps and accept the terms of use. Okay, so I know the application number that I'm interested in with the wind farm. It is 20/50. And you're into the application, and there's a little summary of what's going on. 7 really big wind turbines, a quarry to dig rock for the foundation on all the buildings and so on, some battery banks, a substation, and loads of forestry felling, wastewater holding tank. Okay, but I'm just going to focus on how big the turbines are and try to demonstrate by comparison how huge these things are. Okay, I'm not going to go to map, I'm going to go to documents and drawings. Okay, here. So I'm going to go to turbine elevation and plan. But if you want a summary of the whole project, you would go to, okay, I found it at last. Here's the non-technical summary. It's about 26, 27 pages. Summary of all of this, which runs to thousands of pages. But we're not going to that now, we're going to look at the drawing. Okay, here it is, wind turbine elevation and plan. So click on that and open it. Okay, that finally opened for me. It took a little bit longer, so I paused the recording so not to have too long video. So this is the drawing of the turbine. There's going to be 7 of these, and it's not a whole pile of detail, except that it's 178.5 meters from the ground to the tip, and there's no dimension for the diameter here given. But it's a mechanical drawing, so the only way to do it is to scale this. So what I did is I brought this drawing into AutoCAD, and we have one dimension, so we can get the rest of them. So I'll show you that now, and we'll try and see how big this thing really is compared to some other structures we're more familiar with. So here we are in AutoCAD, and I've drawn in a little house for scale that is 7-meter wide gable, and it's 5.5 meters high. So I don't know, is that a big or small house, but it's roughly a house anyway. And this shows the size of a turbine next to it. Now, unfortunately, this isn't a new turbine. This is the old model that was on the site before, the Keimaneigh 58. And these are the dimensions according to the manufacturer. 58-meter swept diameter and 75 meters to the highest point on the arc. Now, for some reason in the application, the applicant says that these are dimensions of the former turbines, and they may well be. Who am I to know? So the dimensions they gave was same 75 to the top, very top, but a smaller swept area, only 50-meter diameter. And that looks like a small difference, but the power available, or the potential power output, is proportional to the swept area. So a little difference in blade diameter actually makes a big difference. Okay, so they're the old ones that aren't there anymore. We'll try and move on to see how big these really are compared with something. So everyone recognises that, well, everyone from Cork anyway. That's my attempt at Cork County Hall for scale, and that's at 67 meters. So those old turbines were even bigger than that. But they weren't in a city environment with other tall structures. They were out in the middle of nowhere. and the only other structures are in really little houses. So the new turbine, believe it or not, you'll actually have to zoom out to get it in. This is the size of the new turbine compared to the county hall, and these old turbines were on site. So if you do not believe me, I'll just put in the original drawing here. There it is. So I'm guessing they drew it correctly. If they did draw it correctly, you're talking about 150-meter diameter, which makes an absolutely huge swept area, and obviously way taller than these other small little windmills here. Well, small windmills are big. So there's some other things to look at as well. We know that in 2014 there was an incident with one of these old turbines, and that it went on fire and threw a blade, or threw two blades, and one of them went as far as 200 meters. So that's what 200 meters is for scale. And maybe it could go further. Now, suppose that was supposed to have happened in relatively calm, dry weather, so I don't know how far they could be thrown if it were actually windy. Okay, and so the application is for 7 of these big ones. This is what 7 big ones look like as per the application drawing compared to the county hall. The only thing you can really make out now anymore is the county hall. It's not so huge. And I put this in to show that it's not somewhere flat, it's up in a scenic area. Okay, so the swept area here, the difference is huge, and I'll show you the little Excel sheet in a minute to show that. We'll go to that now maybe. So these are what the applicant says are the dimensions of the old turbine: 75 meters to the highest point on the arc, and rotor diameter of 50. That means the radius of the length of each blade is 25. So relatively, the new ones are 2.38 times taller than the old ones that were on site. But the rotor diameter, the relative rotor diameter, is actually 3 times bigger. And more importantly, when you do your pi r squared, we find that the swept area, which is what you'd actually be seeing, is 9 times the old models that were there, according to the applicant. So we'll go back and see what that looks like. So it's 9 times bigger than that. So there were 10 of these, and now they want 7 of these big ones. And if the power is proportional to the swept area, then how far could one of these new ones throw a flaming blade? Well, I don't know, but you could say, take a wild guess, it's potentially 9 times more power. Now, it probably won't be, because they probably can't design these to take that, but suppose it is. Then we have 9 by 200, which is 1800 meters, which looks like this. How far could it be thrown? I don't know, but it would be important to know this if you're considering giving permission for such development. This from here to here is 500 meters, which is the current setback guideline for dwelling houses from wind turbines. I think that's only a guideline, that's not necessarily a rule. Yeah, I think something as big as this, I wouldn't want to be near it anyway. So that's it. That's what these actually look like relative to things that we know, county hall and a house. Hope you found this useful, and I hope you get your submissions in on time.